Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I am founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. I have Anna Anderson from Art Unlimited, which is not an art store, right?
It is not.
It is a marketing company. So, Anna, tell me a little backstory, how you started the company, how you developed it. Right now, it's a really good sized company. Tell me the little story. How do you make it happen?
Yeah, so actually, I'm a second generation business owner here at the company. My father started the company over 40 years ago. And now, recently, I've taken over the full ownership of the business. And so I've grown up in marketing. And back 40 years ago, marketing was truly an art form, right? And
That's when they had
today,
phone books. I remember phone books, yellow pages.
yes,
Right.
yes.
That's
And
every company was AAA this and AAA that because you want to be ahead of the phone book, right?
right. There's the A-1 companies. They were leveraging both of those different
Right.
components, the A and the first digit. Yeah, there's been so much evolution in marketing and where we sit today, and I think where we're going tomorrow. But great marketing has core characteristics, and so that's where we look at the success of what our company brings to the table.
Okay. Tell me what your company does. Now I know um, marketing company be everywhere from making the phone ring to digital marketing to training salespeople. It's all across the board. So what does Art Unlimited? What's your specialty, and how do you work with contractors?
Yeah, great question. So our specialty is data-driven marketing solutions. When we look at marketing, and I kind of gave that incredibly 10,000 foot picture of kind of where we started to where we are today. When we say data-driven marketing, we understand that great marketing starts with who are your people. So when we look at a people-first marketing approach, understanding who those people are, understanding the data of those historic customers, where are more opportunity customers, and then what is the media that they're consuming. If we can truly understand that, and data allows us to understand that, then we can deploy marketing campaigns, be it on digital, be it on traditional or non-traditional channels. That's where our data-driven marketing solutions bring success. So our team is over 35 team members here, all located within the US. We specialize in providing marketing services to contractors. We truly understand the industry. I'm from northern Minnesota and have been blessed with amazing experiences. And growing up, I was always not only learning marketing, but just a nature of the beast. I learned a little bit of construction on the side, and my husband is a contractor. So it understanding and working with contractors, to some say, well, you're just a marketer, you don't really understand. I'm blessed to say, yeah, but I've have an awareness of, and I've put on a tool belt every now and again,
Right.
and to truly understand some of those unique challenges as well as opportunities that each one of the contractors faces.
Now, question. Sometimes it's hard for a contractor to make the shift from, I'm going to call it craftsman to entrepreneur, right? I mean, most construction companies, at least until private equity takes a big chunk of it, are plumbers, electricians, carpenters that for whatever reason decide to start a company, right? Now they're saying, okay, I went from, working on my friends' houses to now I do 3 million in remodeling or whatever. How do you help them make that transition from craftsman to entrepreneur? Because sometimes it's really difficult for them to understand a marketing budget. Like, my reputation should carry me. I'm well known in the community. I do a good job. My people are great. If I'm doing 3 million, why would I want to spend 200,000 on marketing? It seems like a wasted money to me.
Yeah, no. So when we start working with a contractor, and I was just talking to one today, again, we look at the people first and lifting them out of the day-to-day activities and saying, okay, who are those people that you love? Let's understand who they are. They're incredibly passionate about the customers that they serve, right? Um, as you say, how do we get into that entrepreneurial mindset? It's talking to them in their language. They love construction, and you also love the people that you get to serve. So when we truly can talk about the people, then we talk about what media are they consuming. Now let's craft the strategy. I think many marketing companies go right to what's the budget? What do you want to spend on Google? Are you going to do a social campaign? Should we do direct mail? We talk these very functional buckets. And in reality, the contractor is always thinking first, how do I take care of my people? Because that's what's driven them to where they are today.
Right.
And they're beginning to grow a team. They're not thinking yet about the budget. But when they understand the foundational steps to get to that point, it's really breaks down the barriers. And the individual I was speaking with today sat back and goes, oh, this is a lot. Like, you got me thinking, I should think about this and the people that I love and who they are. And now we start talking about what
Right.
is it going to take from a financial perspective to get in front of more of them.
So let's say, do you handle just digital or do you handle, I mean, obviously there's everything from yard signs to you can pass out postcards to the neighbors. You can, have signs on your trucks. You can sponsor the local football team. I mean, my experience is a lot of marketing companies don't think in a holistic approach. They think in Google Ads, SEO, a bunch of charts and graphs. How can we get higher on this graph than the other companies and that kind of thing? And to me, marketing involves all that other stuff. It's just not, where where you are in Google. I know it's important, but it isn't everything, I don't think.
I, I would agree 100%. And so we have a product called Persona Blueprints, and it looks at, again, that historical customer, where's the opportunity customer? And we're able to analyze and say, hey, these customers, they like to have their lawn cared for. They like to have their houses cleaned, or they like to eat organic food. Here's where that entrepreneurial mindset, when they love the people they get to serve, all of a sudden their wheels start turning and they go, you know what? There's a lawn care company that we could partner with. They could help bring us referrals. A
Mhm.
house cleaning company, they're in those homes every day. They see the deterioration. They could help drive some opportunities for us as well. Maybe we create a referral program. So having those very organic conversations is, I think, important because we see the markets going up and down. This year is a great example of a lot of turbulence. We see digital platforms changing the rules left and right. That's really hard for a business owner to navigate when we have huge enterprises, private equity eating up segments of the industry. Doesn't matter what vertical you are in, private equity sees construction as a stable market
Yeah, I mean,
and investment.
obviously, AI is not going to put a roof on soon or do a remodel. If I was an attorney or a anytime I was selling information for money, I would be concerned about being disrupted by AI because it's way faster, better, and cheaper than most attorneys or doctors, that kind of stuff. But so there's a lot of private equity coming in, and I think what happens sometimes, Anna, is the easiest thing for private equity to do is let's just pay a ton for Google Ads. They don't worry about the lawn care company. They don't worry about wrapping trucks. They don't worry about this other stuff. We're just going to put, a ton of money. We've got a lot of cash. We're going to throw to Google Ads, and all of a sudden Google Ads go from $20 to $200 because they're just killing the pricing. And then the small guy can't compete with that because he doesn't have the kind of budget. So
Yeah,
I'm
and so
how
if
do
I
you do
could
that?
take off of that, I agree 100%. So that's where I'm saying, hey, what got you to where you are today? We can't forget that. And I think a lot of people all of a sudden look and say, oh, well, I've got to start spending here, and they do that, and either it works for them or they flop and they go, well, it wasn't a good path for me. I think the key is diversification, making sure that you have a little bit of old school, you have a little bit of the new school, and you're 100% you're leveraging AI and quality resources. When you blend those things, you have great opportunities. But most importantly, you have stability. And you have community. And that's what keeps referral and repeat business coming back to your and knocking on your door. That's the lifeblood of almost every contractor that we provide service to. They'll either respond and say, it makes up 50% of our business. It makes up maybe up to 80% of our business, repeat and referral business. Then why wouldn't you lean into those things?
Right. So now one of the issues I have with marketing companies in general, it's just sort of stereotype, is that they're into numbers, not into ROI, right? I mean, so they're more concerned about, well, the graph is here and it's not there, right? Or the graph is someplace else. And that's, I mean, graphs don't pay the bills, right? And my experience is that some marketing companies, instead of saying, well, you spent, pick a number, 50,000 with us this year. How much did you make? Well, we spent 50,000 with us, but look at your number here on Google, and they give a bunch of graphs I've never seen before saying you're higher here, but I don't really care. Where did my 50,000 go? Did I get 100,000 back or 10,000 back? Do you deal with that issue, like where you spend the money and how you measure the ROI?
Yeah, so we're always talking about that and making sure, like, what is the purpose of the campaigns that you're running? And I think that's a conversation I had a couple of weeks ago with a contractor, and he goes, hey, where is my money going? I'm getting an ROI here. I'm not getting an ROI there. We should cut this. We should keep that. So let's segment and understand what is the purpose of each campaign. Are you building awareness? You're probably not going to see leads right away off of that, right? But your brand and your reputation is feeding and maybe some long-term lead drivers. And then you're going to have immediate return on some actual lead drivers where you're talking about Google local service ads, or you're doing some home shows possibly, where you're actually connecting with those people who have intent to purchase at that moment or quickly thereafter. So when you look at those different strategies and we break that down, people are like, oh, I guess maybe we shouldn't cut that, because the baseball game and the little league are where all our customers are at. Maybe the investment is worth that long-term play because we know they're going to need a kitchen remodel. We know they're going to need a new roof. We understand the age of home. We understand the building envelope age and deterioration. There's an evolution. We want that customer.
Right. Now, how do you deal with the where did the customer come from? I mean, because it's difficult. So, somebody calls you on the phone. Is it because you sponsor their kids' little league team? Is it because they saw your sign on the lawn? Is it because they saw you on Google? Is it because their friend read? I mean, there's so many factors. It's, how do you identify where that person actually came from and what I should spend more or less money on?
Well, there's definitely an art to it, right? There's a science saying, hey, we can track these components, and those other components are really so subjective to what the customer is going to say. I always strongly recommend use call tracking services in order to understand the big buckets that are driving the conversations for you. So that being said, we recommend a platform called CallRail. We're one of the premier partners with them. And we're able to track not only inbound calls, but you can also track different types of lead sources. And that gives you clear identification, regardless of what the customer is saying, of how they found you.
Can you explain? I mean, use different phone numbers for different. I mean, to explain to like our viewers how that works.
Yeah, so what we would do is we would recommend and say, you're going to do a postcard campaign. Here's the phone number that you're going to use on that campaign. You're going to do yard signs. Let's have a tracking phone number for those signs that are out there, your trucks or your vehicles that you're driving around in the community. Put that tracking phone number there. So then when you go and you look at your dashboard, you can say, okay, we had this many calls come in from your trucks, and we had this many come in from yard signs. You gain visibility to that. Your customers, when they call in, they may say, I was talking to Paul, and Paul said, you did an amazing job on our remodel, our landscaping. These are the things that your prospective customers are referencing, but you can also attribute and say they also came in from a Google local service ad. So they might have seen our brand, they talked to you, Paul, and you recommended they call me, but they were shopping and they weren't 100% sold until they saw we had 5-star reviews and we had 150 of them. So I think there's that multiple lead attribution. It's very hard to get your arms around, but you at least have some visibility to what's working. They saw the yard signs, they recommended that, said you referred them. So there's a lot of granularity to it, but at least you're starting to gain that visibility.
So now when you're working with a client, you deal with everything they do from their yard signs, postcards, handouts, there's marketing involves a lot of things and you just don't do digital, you do all that other stuff.
Yeah, so we have team members who will do different aspects of their marketing strategy. We strongly recommend there's someone who's held accountable inside the company who is able to give direction, who is able to facilitate some of the on the grounds pieces, right? Like we're not able to physically go and help them man a home show or
Right.
go and do a parade. But what we can do is we can say, here's the creative assets, the graphics that might be needed. Here's the supporting social ad that needs to be deployed. Yeah, so over the years, we as well have gone from that kitchen table experience to that entrepreneur who has a full-fledged team that we leverage the data to say, here's the types of campaigns you should run, and we can support these things, and then you need to do these.
Okay. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, I mean, my experience is people are changing marketing companies a lot. I don't know what it is, but it's maybe because they don't understand it, they don't like the company they've got, they don't think the ROI is there, but there is certainly a lot of shifting in that area of their businesses. That's my experience, right?
Yeah, and I would second that. What I would say is, and I speak a lot on many different stages in a lot of conferences, and I do consulting for manufacturers and the contractors they support. So I gain a lens not just to how our company runs, but I hear that a lot as well. Well, I was working with this company and I switched to this company. I'm now with that company. And I boil it down and say, okay, let's talk about why you're switching, because every time you switch, you are pausing and restarting. And sometimes you need that. And other times you are simply subject to an algorithm adjustment. Best
Yeah.
practices of any company that does marketing for you is going to have that hit. Other times, like this year, we've seen economic turbulence in some markets that is just outside of any agency's
Right.
scope. So it's really having that conversation and saying, do we need to pull back on what we're doing? Do we need to lean in more? Do we need to change what we're doing?
Right.
Um, so I
Well,
think that's where challenging conversations need to happen.
unfortunately, in marketing, most contractors don't know what they don't know. I mean, they really don't. They're going, I'm spending money here. I X back. I didn't get X back, so I should change something. They just like shop around, right? Which is, I don't think, a good thing to do. So if they want to call you, what can you offer them to help decide whether they got the right company or not and what they actually need in marketing?
So we take a very consultative approach and we'll help walk them through and say, okay, where are you today? Where do you want to go? What are the benchmarks that you're hitting? Maybe you're exceeding or you're lagging in. And then where do you sit compared to some of those key competitors in your market? Understanding those components has been enlightening. And then our persona blueprint product really helps establish a baseline of how did they achieve success in those customers. And then we're able to analyze and say, here's the actual media that's being consumed with that customer base that you're trying to target. And I think this is the one piece that enterprise businesses have had for years in their back pocket. They are able to gain access to a lot of that data. we've been working for the last 2 years to break that down so we can deliver that to contractors in that kind of 1 to 10 million annual revenue space and say, they're on this streaming platform. They're consuming this type of content that they're reading. They're engaging with this other type of community type of environment. That's where you should be. And it goes back to what you said. It's not just about Google and how you rank. It's really the diversity of your strategy. So that's the more consultative approach that we take. Then let's talk about
So
implementation.
if people want to get a hold of you, Anna, how do they do that?
Yeah, happy to help facilitate that conversation through our website. Go to artunlimitedusa.com. And from there, we have a form that you can fill out, and someone on our team will follow up. It's not uncommon for me to pop in and join some conversations from time to time because I'm very active in the business, working on the business. I feel like those conversations fuel how we can continue to provide great service and innovate on behalf of our customers.
So go to your website, right on the front page, it says schedule my free consultation. Hit that button and go
Yes,
from there, right? Cool.
yes. Again, artunlimitedusa.com.
Okay, thanks, Dan. I appreciate you being here. And this is a good time of year, guys, when you're thinking about it, like it's the end of the year. What are you going to do with marketing next year? Come with a marketing plan. Maybe you need to talk to Anna before you decide where you're spending your next $50,000 just to make sure that you're making the right decisions. So, Anna, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Paul.